Oh, we just need to start writing these down and release our own little module of like, what was it? Tasha's cauldron of like everything. It's just like Cullen's fucking belly button of like shit and lint that you don't want.
The next 5e book, Cullen's collection of crap.
Yeah, there it is.
Bring all your old magic items down to Cullen's collection.
Shit in my hands, please.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to -1 Charisma's DM office hours, where Cullen and I and Bobby, we talk about the real stuff. We get into the nitty gritty of D&D. The nitty.
You know what the real nitty gritty of DMing is like you are basically a for free therapist, like for your friends, right? Like, and it does go both ways. It definitely goes both ways, but you are basically like low-key nonprofit therapist.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Group therapy. It's true group therapy.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like actual group. Right.
That's the problem.
You're just sort of like the ringleader. Yeah, there's no one with a degree. There should be, but there isn't.
No one's certified to actually help somebody else.
Yeah, everyone just sits down around the table. You introduce yourself. You say like, "Hi, my name is, Kalik. My name is Kakarot. I'm a Saiyan." You go into your life story, tell everyone your problems, but then the real problems come out. And there's no one there to help. DM's just fucking trying to put out fires left and right, keep emotional eruptions to a minimum. Yeah, baby, that's the real. You want the nitty gritty?
And it always comes out, right? I feel like game, no matter
in a good
what.
game, if people are actually actively like bringing their real self, yeah, because humans cannot coexist in the same room. There was a long documentary about it. I believe it was called The Real World. They cannot exist in the same room without either banging one another or using weapons and banging those against one another.
Speaking of The Real World,
good morning, everyone.
We watched a few. Real quick sidebar. We were watching this British. My girlfriend was watching this British
baking
reality show, and everyone was like crazy and angry at each other. And then we turned to this American version, and everyone was crazy and angry at each other. And then they were like the Japan version, and everyone was like super polite.
Oh, is that Lifehouse or something like that?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that.
What's that thing called? Is it called Lifehouse?
No, it's.
You know what I'm talking about. It's basically like real world.
Oh my God.
Real world, like Japan. Except everyone is like incredibly polite to one another. And it's basically, I think it's mainly, I only watched an episode, but it looked like if you don't understand the true like
Terrace House.
Really like, Terrace House, that's what it is. Like the granular nature of like Japanese society and politeness, like you won't understand that like that dude just burned her so bad, just by like, I don't know, not wiping the butter knife or something. I don't know, but I'd love to know more, but
there's
I don't
know anything.
There's like games
being played on layers and layers, and you just don't understand.
Yeah.
You're like,
it's like palace intrigue, but as an American watching, I'm the jester in the palace. It's like I don't know what the king's up to.
What I absolutely love about that, because I had a few Japanese exchange students in high school come over.
A few,
and they were learning. Yeah, we had 3 in my high school.
3. And at your high school or like at your house?
At my high school. I didn't host them.
You didn't host them. I thought you were running like an Airbnb for like Japanese kids. Come check out California.
Japanese.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it
We'll work on it.
Anyways, no. But it was fun because it was like, and this might be something that happens at tables too. When two cultures
he's gonna try and tie it into D&D.
No, I love it because when two cultures come together, like there was this really nice woman from Japan who came. And it was like there was like a lot of back and forth, and like she like we all played by the rules, and she was fine with it. And then it was like she would try and get one over on me, because she liked to play like little pranks and stuff, and then I would just like American smash I would just be like,
Yeah,
break
yeah,
the
so you
rules, and her head would
You would
just
just
be like,
Detroit smash her.
yeah, and it was just like, you can't do that. And
Right.
you know, she was really smart, so she picked it up real fast. But in the beginning, it was just like,
Yeah.
wow, like you can change the rules.
Right.
I feel like that's
like
one
we
of those
aren't.
fun things.
There aren't there's guidelines. There are not rules.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Grinding the
Well,
dirt already.
fun.
Yeah. Well, that brings us into our first topic. Actually,
Oh, look at him! You see that? He's working on his
brings us in.
segues. They're getting better.
Let's just pop this up. Boom. Lifelines. Throwing lifelines to players like the Japanese exchange students who come over here to learn about American culture, and then yeah, I got nothing. I was going
Throw him a
somewhere,
lifeline.
and
Throw him a lifeline.
I got
Hey, use a Mr. Baseball reference.
Mr.
You remember that
Baseball. Great movie.
Do you remember that
In
movie?
fact,
That movie was fantastic. It says
Yeah.
like 9-year-old me. It was probably the last time I watched Mr. Baseball.
I'll have to watch it again.
Brooke
But,
and I have been trying to watch like not old like classics, but like old sort of classics, like kind of
I mean,
cult
90s
classics.
movies and 80s kind of feel
Yeah,
classic
80s and
now, right?
90s. Yeah, they do. Like, and like we're trying to do critically acclaimed ones too. Like, I'm not trying to say that it was like Gone with the Wind and then Mr. Baseball. Like, that's not. But yeah, we got to watch that one.
Yeah.
Mr. Baseball.
Go back and watch. I would say what's fun, and we did this too, is we went back and watched some old Richard Pryor movies.
Oh wow.
Some of those jokes are like, whoa, that is like, it's a joke, but it's so racist and it makes me so uncomfortable. Like, you know, they have like the old white men being their just jolly racist selves. But the way that they take it, like the levity that they say some of these jokes, I'm just like, wow, dang, different time. It's Superman. Superman with Richard Pryor. Watch it. It's gas. But anyway, throwing lifelines.
Okay, lifelines.
Playing D&D.
What's a lifeline? What's a lifeline?
You're playing D&D, and say you have a new character at the table, and they're in a difficult situation, and they don't quite know what to do or how to handle it, and so they just get like paralysis, or you get like overwhelmed or something. Sometimes what we can do is you as a DM, you can be like, hey, look, here's your situation. Here's 3 options you can take. That's a form of throwing lifelines, like helping them out. Or situationally, like say a player is rolling really bad at the table. And we all know that happens sometimes. Sometimes you just roll all the ones on every die. It doesn't matter what die you're rolling, it lands on one.
It's amazing. Like, I know statistically that's not how it actually works, but it feels like sometimes like you just can't roll anything but like below 5.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I know that like it shouldn't and doesn't really, but man, sometimes you just go like, fuck, the ones that mattered were all under 5.
Yeah. You're like,
and you can have a whole session.
Random, baby. All right.
Yeah. Fuck.
It just feels bad. Well, but for those people on those nights, sometimes like your character could be in real danger. You're like, I just wanted to skip over this puddle, but I tripped and fell, and now this 1-inch puddle, I'm drowning in it, and my character's
okay, so that example, I think, is an example of what a DM should never do, right? Like, that's one of those, like, and I think it's probably at the beginning, like the DMG. It's like, don't, and you have said it to me 1,000 times, James, don't have anyone roll for anything that they absolutely cannot fail, right? Like, because if they were to drown in that puddle, it's like, why have you created this situation, DM? Why have you made this happen? Because it's on you. Like, they were just like, yeah, I just want to jump over the puddle, and you're like, fucking roll. I'm so sorry, but roll. You're gonna have to roll for this.
And if you roll a 1,
and they're like, is it bad? And you're like, oh yeah, you're drowning bad. And you're like, what do I do? You should start rolling death saves. What? Why?
But for those
Like, could you imagine?
Puddle.
Could you imagine just hazing a new player that way? Like everyone at the table, you bring someone new to the thing, first time they're played, you know, and they start out quiet normally, right? Because they're like, okay, how does it go? How's it go? And everyone's like, yeah, and then I jump up and I stab the dragon, and you're like, okay, yeah, roll for it. And they're like, yeah, I'll charge up, and you're like, oh, okay, but there's a puddle in front of you, and they're like, okay. I'm like, well, roll to get over the puddle. And they're like, oh, all right, yeah. And meanwhile, everyone else is just stabbing this dragon to death, and you've just got him floundering in the back. And they're like, will anyone help me? No, they can't hear you. You're too deep in this 1 inch of puddle. I'm like, oh my god,
that would be pretty good. That would be like
that would be terrible.
Thing. No, that would be fun to like. I mean, I don't suggest anyone do this, but like, like trying to get them.
It'd be like a crash course.
All right, well, I look up at this barn. All right, roll for it. We'll see if you can look up. Your eye pops out of its socket. Your eye pops out. Dead.
Oh no.
You're just dead.
Oh god. Do I have a glass eye? No, but you will now because your eye just popped out. Oh god. Yeah, no.
So I try to put my eye back at roll for it. Nope. Your hand is a knife and you cut the optic.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. You know what you also didn't do? You didn't wash your hands. RP, baby. If you don't say it, it didn't happen. All right. So you've got infections in there, and it's going to spread to your brain. It's only a matter of time. It'd be so bad.
Sounds like something we do today. That would be.
Yeah, exactly.
If it was her next time, it's her birthday. I'm going to do something like that. She'll pick it up pretty fast.
You're mad. Yeah, no.
We just need everybody else to go with it. That's where it would be great. Is when everyone's like. Bobby would feel way too bad like halfway through though. He'd be like, no, Day, it's okay. You know, I'm sure you'll you'll probably survive. You'll probably right, James. You'll probably survive. Okay, I sidetracked us. Point being, like, don't have someone roll for fucking, you know, just skipping over a puddle. Yes.
Because all of a sudden you can have consequences where you're like, oh, fuck me. I just wasted 45 minutes like battling this puddle monster and they haven't even gone into the inn, right?
What I love is you went back to what we were talking about, which is not what we were supposed to be talking about.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the subject that we skipped to.
But I'm about to bring it all the way around. All right. Those are the things that you shouldn't do. However, what should you be doing as the DM?
Say you're fighting you're fighting a goblin. Let's just use a goblin.
Goblins are good.
Fighting a goblin. You're a level 2 fighter, right? It's a one-on-one battle, and you roll bad, and you can't hit this goblin. The goblin stabs you. The goblin crits, and you're like, okay, well, this feels bad. I'm a level 2 fighter. Yeah. I should be able to. In the next round, you roll to attack again, and there's another miss, and the goblin just happens to hit you again or crits you. Now you're doing bad, and then you're like, oh, but the goblin had a poison. Roll your Constitution. All right, fail my Constitution save. So down I go. My character's now dying. It's like, all right, roll a death save. You roll a 1, and you're like, oh my god, I'm down 2. I mean, like, it just goes down fast.
Yeah.
So sometimes in those situations, it's nice for DM to be like, all right, but you know, like. You fought goblins before. You were in an army. Like, take their backstory or something, and you'd be like, you know, you've trained against these things, right? You're adept at fighting these things. Roll that again, like, or roll with advantage this time, or something like that, as like a
or you know, like, you know, something about goblin culture, right? If you can find something in your DM brain to be like, you know, that they absolutely loathe fire or incredibly loud noises, or insert something you know the fucking player can do in this situation, right?
Yeah,
and then maybe have them roll to try and make fire, or try, you know, clap 2 stones together, hit your shield and thing, like, you know, if you make yourself bigger, there's a chance. So make a performance check to try and, you know, really puff yourself up or something like that. And we're not saying to do this every time. I think the point of these things are, there are going to be times when your players are going to probably die in the most ignominious and fucking bullshitty fashion that is so fucking unsatisfying that you have to throw them a lifeline. You have to give them a chance to not die in this way. Maybe maybe it is a little like the hand of God coming down and being like, I'll pick you up, young man, and put you right on your feet. But as long as they're actually rolling for it, I think it can be it can be an absolutely essential mechanism. And the better a DM you are, the more you can make it feel natural and not like, and then I fucking helped your dick. I helped your dick real good. You know, like your action, you can weave it into the story. James had a good use of this, I think, in our last game. The character was being swallowed by this huge fucking lava worm. And it's like the player wasn't really trying to get out of the mouth or do anything to get out of the mouth. And it's like, as a DM, you're like, dude, fucking just try and get out of this thing's mouth. Like, and you can say things in your DM voice to be like, you know, oh, and you can see that there's little gaps between the teeth and there's light. You can like, you know, jingle keys over here to be like, all right, hey, look over here. But sometimes players just get like fixated. Like you were saying earlier, they get like, oh, fuck, I don't even know what to do. So what you can do is you can,
That's
exactly.
Analysis paralysis.
Exactly. And it sounds fun to say.
It is.
But what you can do is you've got a few different sort of options, right? One, you can if you know they're super struggle bus, you can give them options and literally be like, look, and sometimes, dude, it happens to the best. Maybe they don't feel like they know the situation well enough to be making decisions, right? That you haven't described it well enough for them, or they just weren't fucking listening. And all of a sudden they don't want to feel stupid. So they're like, and they just don't know what to do. So you can say, look, I think a few of the things you could try are maybe, you know, hitting the back of its teeth, prying its teeth with a sword, you know, looking for a soft palate or whatever, all those things. The other thing that you can do is insert into the story, and this is what James did. You can insert what I like to call ripcords, but what we're calling lifelines, because let's be serious, that's what it is. And we could divide between like the granularity of like a lifeline versus ripcord, but what it is it's a handhold that they can be like, oh fuck yeah, that's the thing I need, and you give them a chance to roll for it. For James, it was like this lava thing had like a blowhole. I think like
trill hole.
A trill hole, which is even better because he made it sound like, yeah, okay, that's how it makes noise. Cool. But then as they're sliding down, you gave them a chance to like go for it and stab and you know, get shot out of it or whatever. Whereas otherwise, like just going by what made sense in the story, it's like, yeah, you just get eaten. And you're dead. Game over. And it's like, that's really not fun. I mean, look, if you're playing short form, and we should have put a disclaimer. Like most of this information is for long form games, like very long campaigns.
Well,
if you're playing 3 sessions,
I don't know. I think it still can be useful.
I think it's still applicable. It's just not as right.
If you want to save players, yeah. Hey Mod, hey Homebrew, happy Friday. Tangent actually had a really good example of that. It says, my first character was a lantern bearer who the rest of the group gave a dagger and told to hamstring an Etten. I failed horribly and then role-played my way into convincing the Etten that evil people were more nutritious and tasted better than good people, and I was good. So he shouldn't eat me, and the GM was so amused he allowed me to talk the Etten into listening to me and trying to find an evil person instead. I mean, that's great. Right? Like that's perfect.
Like that's what I'm talking. Yeah. That is a perfect example where you're like, oh, this guy's about to get fucked. This person's going to get like, and if someone, especially if the player brings forth like hold on, you don't want to eat me. You know, it's like, I'm listening. Go on. Right. Yeah. Like oftentimes, you know, in lieu of a roll for like a persuasion check, like I'll be like, no, just persuade me. You know, like I'm the NPC. I'm right here. Talk to me. And those are the sorts of things where it's like, not everyone is actually good at that, right? Like not everyone is Tommy Callahan. Not everyone. Some people are. Not everyone. But I changed that, like DC. If the person who like never talks is like, oh, okay, yeah, well, how about, you know, and they start like bullshitting, I'll be like, Okay. I give them way of an easier time than the person who's like me, who just can't fucking shut up. You know, I'm like, boy, you're actually going to have, like, if I was playing at my table, I'd be like, fuck you. I'm going to need like bylaws. You're going to have to fucking show me the real law that's in this fantasy world. And I'm like, oh, fuck me. God damn it. But yeah.
Yeah.
But
no,
yeah,
I mean,
no,
but
like,
that's a good point. Like, yeah, but like lifelines can be thrown and they can kind of come out of nowhere. I mean, anything that helps the player, right? Like, whether it's an extra roll, which is maybe a little on the nose, but like that's
Colin was very on the nose. But sometimes it's deserved, especially
need, right? Like if a player has a good, like a player goes like, hey, you know, because of this situation.
Yeah. Dude, I've done that so many times on both sides of the screen. But I mean, here's the thing: is like I'm always open to that. Like if you can. Once again, convince me. Like if you can be like, well, but I've got this, or but I've got that, or we're in this situation, I'll be like, oh fuck, I didn't even think about that. Sometimes, and other times I'll be like, no, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. And you take 5 points of psychic damage. But no, that's the best, because it should be a conversation, right? It shouldn't feel like the DM's just standing there like, no. You know, like just some shitty foreman on like this really bad job that everyone keeps showing up for weekly.
We need a system like in football where you have to like put up one of your timeouts to like
review the play.
Yeah.
Yeah, except if we do that,
actually in the DMG, it says, "Oh, one of your timeouts." Actually, one of your timeouts.
Yeah, except like the players will have flags and they'll just be like throwing them in our face, just like filled with like lead shot too. Like, oh, that's why I wear my glasses. Yeah, no, I could see. I don't think it's ever a bad thing when players sort of like interject and be like in good faith. Like there's definitely times when like a player will be like just like with sour grape syndrome being like, yeah, well, you know, that's not how, and Bobby's gonna love this. That's not how they do it on a critical role. You know, and it's like, well, we're not on critical role or whatever. You know what I mean? Like any example of anything.
Wait.
That's not how we did on my last table, kind of thing. It's like, well,
on critical role.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Fucking Matt Mercer just fucking drops from the ceiling and like
play a video of him coming into the room that we have behind us, or that we're in.
Yeah. You mean the office? You mean this luxurious office that we spent so much time decorating but never cleaning?
Yeah.
Oh, it smells weird in here, but it's a good smell. It's like
books.
us.
Yeah.
It's us. Mm-hmm.
It's a unique musk. You don't use the word musk enough in this culture.
No, we do.
It feels gross. It's a gross
Well,
word.
it feels gross because there's a douchebag that is referred to by that name.
Yeah. I see.
The less musk on my newsfeed, the better. Fuck that guy. Also, musk though. It doesn't like. They used to like have like men's perfume, right? It'd be like, yeah, it's a musk. It's like maybe that was good at one point, the 70s, but now that's sort of like I don't want any
cologne.
Cologne. Yeah, no, I don't know. Musk. Ugh. God.
How about you, Bobby?
I don't like it.
How do you feel about lifelines?
I think they're extremely important, right? Because as a DM, you're there to present your players with a fun experience and a fun game. So you don't want to just be like, oh, I'm just trying to kill you. It's like, no, I'm going to try to find ways to, enhance the story and make it so what's happening right now that's bad could possibly go into a good direction by working with you, right? And not just being like, oh, okay, well, you're dead. Sorry, game over. Because that sucks, right?
Right.
No one wants that.
No, you want to avoid that at all costs. I mean, look, player deaths are inevitable if you're playing. I mean, I guess they're not. If you're just like no one can die in this campaign, which I'm sure someone's played. I'm sure someone's played like that at one point, like an RP only
campaign. Yeah.
Is that what they call them?
No, it's not.
It should be though. God, I would love to play a Care Bear module, but have it be fucking like super dark. Oh, we touched on that. We touched on this. The most OP fucking bad guy in the world. Oh, wait, was that Care? No, that was My Little Pony. That was My Little Pony.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that fucking like demon with the 6-foot horns coming out of his head, leading the fucking lightning breathing fucking horse dragons or whatever in his chariot in the sky. What? Anyway, play that campaign, but like just fucking like Care Bear Stare, but it like fucking just melts people and shit like that. Like I guess it would be tough. You only have one attack. Each guy only has one attack. I guess you got to get creative.
Yeah,
maybe do a one shot.
I think and I'll say this too. I mean, going back to the Lifelines.
Right.
Too much about My Little Pony. And Tangent brings up a good point. Honestly, once Cornelia got eaten, I was expecting her to die. You did a damn good with that. Well, I don't feel like I, as a DM, was expecting Cornelia to die. Now, Cornelia was a gnome that got eaten by a gigantic lava worm. And was about to be swallowed. She failed every check possible and was swallowed and swallowed and swallowed.
Like
but
every check in a row. It was amazing.
Lifelines don't have to come from DM to player and player to DM. I think there's a lot of ways that Lifelines, you as a player can throw a lifeline to another player. So for instance, another character in our campaign, Pup, who's a monk, was like, I taunt this thing and I jump down its mouth because I'm going to try and grab Cornelia and get her out. Right. Yeah. And I thought, now there's like and I think as a DM, lifelines are an interesting thing. And when players try and do that, anytime any two players try and do something together or interact, I always try and reward them, at least for trying. Yeah. Right.
Well, and you always want to reward heroic action too. Yeah. Right. Like anytime that someone is doing something that's literally heroic, it's like, yeah, fucking okay, this the worm fucking hiccups and it doesn't swallow you to death right this try. Now you have a chance. Go for it. Fucking go for it. Yeah. Right.
Well, I mean, and then because Pup had jumped in there, now there was like the opportunities opened up. Because I think even Cornelia to a degree had resigned herself to like, I just got
Cornelia was like, oh, I'm dead. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think I'm dead. Yeah. I think that's it. And then, by that opening up just the possibilities, and then they both ended up getting out.
Real talk for a second though. Real talk. They do this in movies like all the time, and usually the person gets saved, but sometimes they don't. That moment, like in a movie, like when the hero or whoever it is, like knows they're going to die, like knows it for a fact. And then they just have to fucking like sit with it for a minute before it happens is honest to God, the thing that scares me the absolute most in the world. Like the idea of like, so it's not like knowing it's coming and it's imminent is fucking terrifying. That's just my real talk for the day.
Like waiting to be like beheaded or something?
Oh, sure. Or whatever. Like the building collapses around you and it's like, yeah, no. It's going to shift and come down again.
Like that 3 seconds. Like that it's actually like an hour of film time, but it's in slow-mo. So you're like...
Yeah, or even 5 minutes. Come in. Yeah, whatever it is. It's just like, oh, God. Oh, and I mean... You can use that in story, right? Because I'm sure it fucking felt for Cornelia like that. Like, oh, wow, okay, so this is it. Like, you could see it. Pardon me. Oh, yeah, I got the fizzy water. You could see it in her face, like that she had resigned herself to being like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm going to be rolling up a new character, right? And then Pup fucking with Kate's character was like, I'm coming in. And all of a sudden you could see on her face like, oh shit, maybe I'm not going to die. And it's like, that's a roller coaster there. That's awesome.
And that was like a good, even sometimes like a player is like, I know sometimes when I'm either playing really badly or poorly or things aren't going well, or I just can't help in any way as a player, I start to feel really sad and I'll actually get a little depressed or down. And then another player will do something and like, will rally and they'll just rip me up, like back on my feet, like, come on, soldier.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna go back in. We're gonna get him out. And,
exactly.
That's my bad sergeant talk.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I'd work on it. But it's a good starting point. I think we're gonna get killed out there because I can't understand him. I can't understand the sergeant at
all. So that's great. We've heard of 3 really good ideas. Then we've heard of offer your players some ideas to help out of the situation. You can also, if the player has a really creative idea, work with them on it and kind of roll with it. Or you can also add a roll. Also, Tangent said in the chat, there's a thing called hero points in Pathfinder. Do you guys know about that at all? Hero points?
Yeah, hero points. And
Miles.
What's that?
It's very similar to like inspiration.
Mm.
We don't. No one ever plays with inspiration. So in D&D,
we don't ever play with inspiration.
There's the idea that if you do something really
Does
heroic
or because you don't want
awesome,
I don't.
you can bestow inspiration upon a player, and that gives them like a re-roll of a dice or something like that.
Yeah. I think I always felt like that was it felt cheap. So I always I always handed out like big foam D6s. I'll get those like
That's
big D foam D6s from like the dollar store, and then they can add that to any roll that they want to, which they never do. They just hold on to them for the entire campaign.
From the DM.
Yeah, it's
DM
sort of
inspiration. Yeah, instead of a reroll.
Because I don't know, sometimes a full reroll feels sort of like cheap. Even though, like, there are definitely times where I'm like, fuck, I wish this person had a different way to re-roll this. I don't know.
But, it is a fun way to kind of get the players a little bit excited about the game. Maybe if they're newer players, it'll be more exciting for them to have, like, oh, you did an awesome thing. Here's an extra, D20 use.
Yeah, and everyone appreciates a mulligan. Like, everybody appreciates a mulligan.
Yeah. No, for sure.
That's true.
But
Ron writes, it's kind of annoying when one player tries to improvise with another, but it totally flops because they're so stuck in their character's lore. Well.
That happens. Because DM, like, D&D you're just sort of like, whether you want to admit it or not, you're like an improv troupe, right? Like, it's collective storytelling. And there are always going to be generous players, and there's going to be, we'll call them less generous players, right? That are like more wrapped up in like, I'm the hero or whatever, or I've got to do this thing. And it is sort of a shame to see that sometimes when someone's like, oh yeah, like we could do this. And it's like, I don't need your help. I'll do this. It's like, well, you guys gotta just get it done. You just got to get it done. Maybe do it together. How do you guys handle that?
I mean, it all comes down to listening, right? Being a good listener is a hard skill. It comes naturally to some people, but it's for the most of us, I think it's really hard to do. I think being like somebody who truly listens to other people is somebody who isn't making like judgments or thoughts about what somebody's saying before they finish saying, right? So being a good listener means truly listening to what someone says, taking it in like the way they say it, taking it in what they say and how they say it, like all the different aspects of communication from one person to another, which could be visual, it could be, there's a whole
smells.
Means of ways, exactly, right? Like, oh, I love this new air freshener. And you're like, oh my God, right? But I'm saying is like, and then you take in all of that, and then that's when you let them. Then that's when you react, or you make a judgment, or make a call, or something like that. And that's a really hard thing to do. And I think players, and it's not easy because you're wrapped up in what you're doing, and it's like, my turn's next, so I got to figure it out. But like, say if somebody says like, hey, we got to sneak around. Here, give me a boost up to this thing. And you're like, I have my sword ready to attack. Yeah. And you're like...
Yeah, it's like... usually it's like a DM, I'll just be like, hold up. Like, did you register that? Like, I'm not telling you what to do, but I want you to know that, like, that's like, I always, if you're out to like, in a social setting, and like, there's always like, someone who like doesn't speak up too often, but sometimes they get overrun when they do. I'm like maybe hyper vigilant for that, and I'll be like, everyone shut the fuck up. The person who never talked said something. What was it? You mumbled. It's like, but it's the same thing. It's like you can pump the brakes and be like, whoa, okay, wait. How are you reacting to that? Like reimposing kind of not the will of that character, but the fact that was spoken. Because a lot of people, like if another player says it, they don't feel it's real. It's only real if the DM describes something. Like they're looking at you as like the ultimate litmus test of what's actually happening, which is fair. but in the right table, you know, the player's actions are also happening too.
All right. This actually brings us to a good topic that I want to bring up. Spontaneous topic. It's called being the hero.
Ooh.
Instead of being part of a group of heroes, you're being singular, the hero, which I think happens a lot because everyone wants to be a hero. But are you being a hero at the expense of the other people at the table?
It's tough. It's tough because I feel like it can happen very easily, and this makes it more complicated. It can often happen to your most dedicated players, right? It can happen to the people that are the most invested in the campaign. They are the ones who know, like, who've been writing shit down, right? And they're so laser focused that it's very tough to then sort of have that conversation and be like, you know, how do you guys talk to people? Because it's usually, for me, it'll be like an after the game sort of, you know, a one-on-one thing. Be like, oh, you know, can we talk about spotlight sharing or whatever? How do you handle that, James? You got a weird look on your face. What do you think?
I don't know, they're talking about fleshlights in chat, and it caught my eye. You know, like,
good listener, ladies and gents.
I know. I was just talking about that. I was just like, oh man, I zoned out a little bit. No, but
I'm used to it.
I think it's tough, and that's something that I don't know a DM can. Like, I don't have good tools to push the group to work as a group mindset, because it's not always the case.
It's tough,
but generally it is the case, and I think anything you can do with like team building exercises in the game, if you could like something like that, or give them challenges that they can't
and puzzles, exactly, one person can't do alone, right?
Exactly, right.
The simplest thing is, you know, the two levers,
and you need all of them pull at the same time.
Exactly.
All right, wizard, explain how you're going to do that by yourself.
Yeah, these 20-pound levers,
and I pull all four, and you're like, "Damn it, they did it!"
Shit.
Damn it!
Dang it! Well, rocks fall.
I cast mage,
my level
mage hand, and invisible, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just that idea, right? Like, there's two keys. That both keys need to be turned at the same time.
Yeah, the old nuke-a-duke.
The old duke-a-duke. Good old nuclear weapons.
Yeah, there they are.
But yeah, I think making things like that forces people, because I don't think most people are aware of it. I think that's what it comes down to. Most people aren't aware that they're even doing something that's so disruptive, I think,
right,
to a group's fun, because I don't think anyone goes into D&D being like, oh man, I'm gonna make this so unfun for everyone. And then I'm going to get kicked out of this table, and I'm never going to be allowed back here.
There's one person out there. There's one somewhere that there's just like, oh, it's going to be so good. Oh, I can't wait to just fucking make everyone rage quit right around me. It's like, oh God.
I have to say, I think people just get super excited and they kind of forget themselves sometimes.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think on the player side, if you're a player and you have another player like that, like somebody who wants to feel important. Other players at the table, one of the great things you can do, especially if someone needs to feel like a hero, is let them. And not only that, buy in and go for it. If someone's like, I need to be a hero, be like, you know, as a bard, you can be like, you know, throw off a flourish or a sonnet about this hero you're with, and then rope them into something where you know, you can make them the hero, or like tell a crazy story that's like not true about this person in a bar to try and get some dollars or free drinks, or, you know, something for them. I mean, I think there's a whole manner of things you can do.
I think it only really becomes a problem if it's reoccurring so much that it's making it difficult for the other players. And this comes back to spotlight sharing, right? Mm-hmm. It's making it difficult to get other storylines going and other individuals be able to even fucking talk sometimes, right? Yeah. So yes, like try and scratch that itch for them. And then maybe in private be like, yo, can you help? And no, this is, once again, therapist. It doesn't help usually to be like, yo, I need you to fucking stop talking so much. It's more like, hey, can you help? And then name the person that doesn't talk that much and think, like, can you help like wrap them, like rope them into your shit and help bring them out, help get their character. Like next time you guys split up, can you maybe like take their character and get them to the front and like make it like, cause like you're saying, those people are usually like, not doing it on purpose. It's not to be a dick. It's just because they're excited and they're like, I'll do the thing, and I'll do the thing, and I'll do the thing. Yeah. And everyone's like, I guess it's working. I guess we're having fun. But if you can harness that energy to then be like, and we're doing the thing, it's way better.
That's a good point, because the person who has who writes down everything is fully invested in the game and knows everything about everything that's going on. They obviously have extra bandwidth, right?
Right.
So it's like, where do you spend that bandwidth? Well, it's not productive if they're doing everything. Hey, like, I'm going to challenge you to find a way to like integrate other players into your shenanigans, because that's going to be way more fun for them. Exactly. And you're so good at it, right? Like you don't ever want to like take something somebody's really good at and then like squelch it because
and then
someone
just
else
make them yell at them for it, right? Like that's just not fun. That's not fun. Yeah, you know how you're so good at talking? Shut the fuck up. Like, oh God.
You cast Fireball last time. You can't cast it anymore.
And I feel like it is important to clarify though that there are some people that will play a character that's kind of boisterous or kind of loud because it's like it's funny possibly. They're not trying to like be the hero. They're just trying to be a funny character. That's different, right? That's not the same as trying to be a hero.
But can potentially have the same pitfalls, right?
That's true.
If they're, and I find myself like just kind of like biting my tongue through about half of our campaign because I've always got something dumb to say, like I can literally say something dumb in every situation. And it's one thing when you're all at the same table because you can at least just like go to the person next to you and be like, right. And at least, it's like you're blowing off your steam like that way, like at least it's getting out. But online, like if you say it, it's like everyone's like, wait, what'd you say? You're like, oh, just a dumb dick joke. Don't mind me, Oh, like the last 12 things. Yeah. Like I said, just ignore me. I just apparently have to say it. But it's equally disruptive, right? Like, and that's sort of same thing. Yeah, it can be. Good point. Sometimes,
Graffiti's
right
got
table.
a good example.
If they're not generous,
this is something we can talk about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If they're small. If they're small, dick jokes.
Yes. Yeah.
Graffiti, the spotlight hog in my group just wants to do so much and doesn't realize he's taking up so much time. I mean, that's a big thing, right? Like that's huge. It's a huge thing. Is like taking up like if I want to go buy a dagger and I want to go buy a dagger takes 45 minutes.
Right.
It can be. I don't know. I mean, it can be really disruptive.
Well,
I think that's something the DM needs to regulate.
That's what I was going to say. Like that's on the DM
to regulate.
And to be like, okay, you go off and do that, right? And then, you head off to do that. You turn to the next person. Okay, what are you doing? Right? And then you talk to them and then you pop back. All right, so you meet this guy, yada, yada. But you truncate, you pop back and forth and you truncate, or you just say, if it's really egregious, you can be like, oh yeah, you can go off. That would probably be flip. 3 gold. It's a really nice dagger or whatever, right? And then they feel like, okay, they at least did the thing. Sometimes players are basically just like what I like to think of as NPC fishing. They're like, who can I meet now? And have rowdy banter with, which can be fun. But if it's just you and it's not the whole group and it's not for a larger reason, it can be like, Why is this
and
even happening?
I would say like, and this requires the players being a good time, good natured about it, right? And this
gotta be
goes
a
with
good
like
time.
my hey, these players, they're a good time. This
Wanna meet
requires
that
players
NPC.
being giving, and this is why I'm saying if you can give in to these people who like if this person really wants to have rowdy banter, and you're someone who can be like, hey, I'm down to have rowdy banter with you. Now
I has the banter
I can has banter too
in
good.
rowdy fashion. Yeah.
But now like this person can have rowdy banter with you, or you can try and make and this doesn't always work, but I'm saying, and then if you can talk, if the DM can say, hey, you know, like you love doing these things and then they can be really fun. Hey, what's a way you can route like a couple of the other players into whatever you're doing? And I think if it doesn't work, and if you can't as a group find ways, because I think sometimes people get used to interacting just with the DM, and I like nothing more than when the players take over and then I don't have to do anything and I can just watch.
I mean, there have been times where I've sat back for like an hour, like a literal hour, and it's not like it's great, and it's not like they're just planning and like just making a dumb plan that you know is going to fall apart. They're like talking about shit, and they're like blah blah, you know. And every once in a while,
therapy,
you know, they'll be like
therapy.
exactly. But it's so good. It's so good because it just costs pizza and beer. Yes.
Yeah. Jamie says it well, and I think if it does, if that doesn't work, if you have giving players who are trying to help this person, they're trying to go along with it, and you know it's gonna get old. I agree, it's gonna get old. Some people just need to get it out of their system, which I think this can help with. You know, like they're now the hero, and that's great, and we can move on to the next thing, right? And they can get it out, because I think sometimes people have like preordained ideas of what they need to do before their character can just exist. But Jamie says,
which is so funny.
His favorite quote is, "We can do that, but we're not making it a scene." Moving on.
Yeah.
I think that actually has some merit. Yeah, because like we also had that same problem with our group because we have 7 players, and like we were like, okay, maybe for all shopping things you don't have to play it out. Maybe you can just do it offline before the game starts. Say I bought this, and this. You know? Yeah,
I think James's rule was like, if it's in the PHB, you can just buy it if you're in a big city or a large town. Which I think was great. I think that's a great way to just kind of like smooth through some of those sort of like mechanics. I mean, it is fun the first time you come to a city, maybe to like go around and introduced to the places, especially I was doing a thing in my first campaign where like every city that had a magic shop, like the magic shop was just weird as fuck. Like one of them was like run by and like a really weird, like if you were a wizard or a sorcerer or thing, like you were just like a fucking weirdo. And one of them was like, they were called the Chemical Brothers, and they were like, they looked just like Mario and Luigi, but they were cooking meth basically. And it was like, it can be fun because like you start getting a thing where it's in the new town and people are like, okay, we got to find the magic shop, right? We gotta find the thing, which can be fun because like one of them was like a fucking 600-year-old girl that looked like she was 10. Like she just had her hair had been growing the whole time, and it was just like wrapped around her like it's huge like belt, and she was just like a fucking dick, and it was great, you know. She had a little like Hansel and Gretel cottage that like puffs of smoke kept popping out of the chimney that were like advertisements, like come on by and shit like that. And that can be fun. But if they're coming back there, you know, you can truncate that shit. Right. And that's sort of that balance of like expanding the world and living in the world, because it's also rewarding, I think, as a player, as a character, to be like, oh, no. Don't worry, I know where I'm going. Like sometimes, you know, you can just say to the DM like, oh yeah, I'm going to go down to the whatever and get a thing. And you both know we're not even playing it out, but it's cool that you got to even say it. And we get to know that you're there in case anything happens. And there's always a chance that like NPC this time might be like, when they come in, it gives you what I like to say, another ripcord to be like, that time that they go, maybe the NPC has something I just got in this weird
deal
thing.
for you.
Yeah, but it can be fun. Like that can be a nice like segue into a new quest, into a new side adventure, into a just like, oh, did you hear about Bobby the Brave? And there's like, whoa, wait. Well, are we in the shop? And you're like, yeah.
Are we in opposite day?
Right. Oh, shots fired. He's fireballs you. I saw it.
No, but I think. I mean, it's good to take things and if there's no story being added to the game, getting the players back to being heroes, as much as possible is generally good, and it's a fun thing to do.
Is there a slice of life genre for D&D? Like, have you ever played like a slice of life campaign? You know what I mean? Where it's like, yeah, we just go camping. We do. Bobby, the disdain in Bobby's voice right there.
No, I was trying to think if I have, and I was like, I don't think so.
No. Fucking no.
No, that sounds interesting. I was just trying to think. I was like, I don't think I have.
No, fuck you is what he said by saying no. Holy shit!
No.
Oh god,
that's so gross. What the?
All I was thinking of in my gross little mind experiment was like that. What might be very fun to be popping into those shops very regularly, because you're not out on a save the world, slay the dragon, whatever. You're just sort of existing, and you'd have to be a really fucking good DM. You'd have to make a world that was like very entertaining and compelling. But I don't know. I'm on a tangent.
We did do the Toy Story campaign. I forgot about that.
That's one of our first one. That was our first one, right?
Yeah, everyone was a toy.
Was I there for that?
Yeah,
it was our first one shot we ever did together as a group.
I think Kate was a Furby. Bobby, what were you?
That was before the stream. I was a Triceratops.
You were Triceratops. That's right.
Was I Slinky Dog?
I think you were.
Something like that.
I don't remember. Wow. You guys are way better memories than me.
You're the teddy bear? Okay, I guess you're the teddy bear, I guess.
The teddy bear?
I guess so.
Oh, I do remember this. We did. We ended.
You were the Teddy Ruxpin.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You kept playing music. You kept playing different songs for the...
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that was fun. That was good.
I remember playing that because it was kind of like us testing out the group, and I was like, "This is pretty fucking." And that Colin guy's funny as fuck. Yeah, so I was like pretty excited after that session.
And now you're just like dripping with disdain when you're like, Colin,
no. Yeah. Fuck you.
Slice of life? What the fuck?
The fuck's the matter with you? Oh man, yeah. But I mean, the thing is, like I think your point was, James, forward momentum. Right. You don't want it to be slowing things down. As a player, I think I've mentioned this before. Oh, no, go ahead, Bobby. Go ahead.
No, please go.
Wisdom from the cup.
Oh, well, I was going to say, I agree. And I think that, if it is a thing where they come to you and they're like, hey, I want to buy a few things, but also like, because I'm a paladin, I want to like have part of my story is buying a nice sword. Paladins. And that can be a scene, right? That could be a cool scene.
And that's more of a hand-on-head thing, right? Like, just communicate your desires. Like, if what you want, if what fucking gets you going is like, I want to just buy a sword, but like a good sword, it's like, you'd be a real shitty DM to be like, so you fuck off and you get a good sword, great sword. You like it a lot. It's like, are you telling me you're telling me I like it? Oh yeah, you love it. You love it.
You love it, yeah.
Who's running my character right now? No, it's like, but I love it when a player will do that, right? When they're like, look, I really think that like, I'd love to do something. It would mean something to me. I mean, maybe there are people that sometimes maybe do it too often. It's like, it's like, I want to get a backpack that's just, so good. And it's like a magic backpack. No. Like a JanSport. Circa 94, with a double pocket and the reflective
Those
strip.
Those are still around because they last.
They won't die.
Yeah.
They will not die.
Oh, I got Cullen frozen.
Why did I freeze? What happened?
I had a page over the Discord page.
You jerk.
Video. No, it's Discord's the jerk. Discord's the jerk.
You got like 3 monitors.
Because I was to be like, hey, look, listen,
do I not
Discord,
deserve my own monitor?
I have the processing power, so just keep playing the videos even when it's not there. It does it to save you system resources, and they think they're being nice about it.
And save your system resources.
Oh wow.
Hi.
We're back. But before we talk about tangents and getting distracted and distracting players at the table, Cullen has a segment that we like to do.
I don't even know. It's getting loose, baby. Getting loose. I don't even know why we have this segment, but I do enjoy it.
It's called
It Came from the Internet.
That was stupid.
One of these days we'll get like the echo behind that. I don't know about you guys. It's
got the wrong window. Why has it got that window up?
You're just the worst.
It's supposed to be doing a Google window.
Nice.
Why is it
That's
grabbing
just
that one?
the absolute
You can see my
worst.
Discord's all. I don't.
It is. Good God, man. Look at you. It didn't come
Where
from
is
the internet.
It just all backs up.
Mm-hmm. While he's figuring that out, let's touch base. Summertime. Weddings coming up in the fall. Got to get in shape. I've been getting back in the gym. Means I've been eating like more, like too much. Like I was shouting at Reed that he needs to like triple the number of calories that he's eating. Anyway, long story short, what goes in must come out.
Oh God.
And I've got a product.
This is the wrong music. This is the wrong music for this.
I've got a product that has been very life-changing. If you live in a maybe one bathroom sort of a house, apartment complex going on, is this the music?
This is the music.
This is the music. All right. You gotta get yourself. And I didn't even understand I thought this was a product that was like made for like no reason. I saw it on the shelf. It's Febreze Air. And I was like, okay, I used to play football back in high school, right? Like we would spray our pads down with Febreze and you'd be like, it works. It absolutely takes the smell out of the linen. I'm like, we played in linen pads.
Febreze Air?
Connecticut. What do you want? Yeah, Febreze Air. That face you just made that they can't see, but you intoned with your voice. It's like, what the fuck is Febreze Air for? Let me tell you what Febreze Air is for. You can demolish the bathroom. I mean, you can unleash a holy war on the porcelain god and just spray some of this in the air. And it's like it didn't happen. It's like it's just a get out of jail free card. It needs to be everywhere. It needs to just be spritzed into the air in like every bathroom across the United States, just constantly. It's amazing.
I feel like
science has conquered.
Most of these sprays, you spray it into the air, and instead of masking it, it just mixes together, and it's not better.
Yeah, right. But Febreze literally, chemically, just destroys smells. It's actually amazingly amazing. I was listening to an audiobook about the guys that invented it, and they were trying to market it. Right, like it's one thing to invent something, but then you try to market it. And they were doing all these test things, and they were like, it worked so well. People were like, okay, that's great, but I don't care. And they did a really in-depth study and found and by that, I mean, they put video cameras in people's homes and told them to use the product, right? They started using the product, and they found that like at the end of like making the bed or making the room real nice, they would spritz some Febreze on it. And then they would sigh contentedly. And they realized what they needed it for was not to actually take the smells out of things, but to give people a feeling of like completion, of like using the product as like, and then I put the special sauce on, right? And that's great. That's wonderful. That is not what this is about though, okay? This is about survival. It's about coming back from an unholy place and making it pristine and pure again. And I see the face you're making. They can't see it, but I see that face, James. you got to get yourself some and apply liberally. It's amazing. It just destroys the smell, especially if you've been going heavy in the gym and you're taking protein shakes. Is all I can say. Okay, rant over. Just get some.
I just wanted to show everyone. There's this
what do you
eBay
got?
ad for Febreze sprays. And they added 2 pictures. One is just a normal picture, and one is a picture that they put like a vignette on it and then jacked up the contrast.
That's good.
I was like,
is there also a picture of Colin? Because he's really selling it.
Yeah, right?
yeah.
Oh, God. If we could get sponsored by Febreze Air, I'd be like...
We change
just
this.
that.
Okay, I was gonna
Just
say
Chipotle and Febreze Air, the 2 people that are like sponsoring us. It'd be amazing.
There we go. I'm trying to find somebody.
The mixture of what you're saying and on this music is so weird. And then also Mod was just like, yeah, that's already a thing people have known about for a while. So I don't know.
Hey guys, this isn't about like you guys. This is about my personal discoveries. Okay, this is my corner. You all might be clued in. All right, I'm the dum dum that's just been like lighting matches and trying to mask like the scent of my horrid lifestyle.
Now that
no. Febreze Air is the
best
deal.
Flavor of Febreze Air?
Oh, it doesn't matter, baby. It doesn't matter. The scent. That's just fucking bonus. That's cool. Great. Who gives a shit? It's the science, baby. It's the science. It gets in there.
Is the science?
Like that scene. The science is inside of the canister. You pull the trigger. And do you remember that scene in fucking Predator where he's got the minigun and he literally takes the rainforest and just chops it all down with bullets? It's like that
global
for
warming
scent.
by himself.
Yeah. It's like that. But for removing smell. It's amazing. It's so good.
You're amazing. This is amazing.
It's good stuff, guys.
It's really good. Oh man,
I feel like
it's changed my life. No, Febreze
has been out. Like Febreze Air has been out for like
probably
10 years. Probably 10 years. And the fact that you're just discovering it now.
Just discovered. Hey. Look, here's the thing. Nobody told me about it. All right. So let me be the me for you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Get out there. I just love
that Mod's like, yeah, it's already a thing. But also, like, there's potpourri, which is like potpourri's been around.
No. That's what James was talking about. That's potpourri. No.
Yeah.
Not the same. Works. Not really. Maybe for you. All right. You've been lifting heavy, Bobby? You've been taking shakes? You getting in 4,000 calories a day? No, man. It's humid. It's humid here right now, okay? Potpourri ain't going to cut it. You need the science.
Oh, my God.
And that brings us back to D&D. Back to D&D. We're talking tangents and disruptive players at your table. We're going to talk about ideas. Like, we don't have all the answers, but ideas and things we've tried and stuff you can do about it.
We have, like, no answers. We have fucking shit tangents.
Well, I guess that just means, like, you guys at home, we would love some of your advice. Really, this is a show for you guys to teach us what to do. Please. Wouldn't that be great? You're in college, you're paying an obscene amount of money. You go to to your professor's office hours and he's like, what do you think it is? I'm like, don't, buddy. All right. You have an hour a week that I'm allowed to come here and ask you what the fuck is going on in that class. Do not go all fucking Socrates on me. Okay. You just tell me what the fucking answer is. I'm here. I walked across campus. I don't have a bicycle. Fuck. Anyway, teachers who are like, I'm going to teach you how to
cancel student loans.
Because you didn't get what you were promised.
Apparently.
All right. Going off on tangents or disruptive players at the table. I think a lot of this comes down to like, especially like times where you're trying to like set a mood or a tone for a game as a DM. I think this is where I've kind of run into it the most, is when you try and set a tone, you're trying to set a scene or a feeling for a certain part of your game, which might be a fool's errand, and you should just never do it ever.
Well, that's what, when you're finished talking, that's exactly where I'm going to pick up.
But sometimes, though, there are moments, you have moments in a stream or in a game.
Look at this guy. He fucking can't get off Twitch in his own brain.
We just had a whole moment with your Febreze. But if two players are having like a moment, a really great moment or an RP thing, and then someone at the table just is there like trying to poke fun at it, or or trying to ruin it in some way, or have to insert themselves in some way, or a player who wants to go off and tell stories in the middle of like, and you're like, and the boss falls down, his last HP taken by your sword. Oh my God, swords. By the way, I just got a sword online. And that's my example. But
great example. Primo shit. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I think you can divide this up a little more. I think there's, because you've written down here, we've got tangent / disruptive players. I think those are two totally sort of different things. I think tangents, one, can be the strong point of your table. I know they were at mine, because the whole point at the end of the day is to be hanging out. It's to be spending time with people that you love at the table, just being together, right? Like being, and it's very strange to be saying this into like $3,000 worth of fucking digital equipment, but like the analog experience of normally being at a table together. But let's clarify. I mean, your game, that's what that's the culture you wanted. This is right. This is where I'm coming from. This is me. This is like what I like to do. So there is kind of that like, what is everyone on? Therapy. What is on everyone's minds? Like, what are we talking about? And I think that is slightly separate from when you're trying to get the tone and something going on, right? But I think sometimes we make this mistake as DMs, trying to be the guy with like all the reins in his hands or her hands. Thank you for that. Right in my ear. Wow. Coming in hot on.
I didn't think it was going to happen, and then it just came out.
Like you leaned into the mic to do that.
It was like
to
a
be the person.
Cough.
It was you're like popped your peas on that one. Dude, those are the worst. Those are the absolute worst. Like a soda burp that comes up and out your nose and like fizzles on the way out. Oh, there you have it. Yeah. Doesn't feel good. Don't feel good. No, but too often as DMs, we try and be the guy that's like, you're on the wagon, you're holding all the reins, and your players are oxen, right? And they're all running around, and you're like, everyone to the left, ye or haw. Did you know ye and haw meant left and right when you were talking to a draft animal? Isn't that funny? Ye,
the category is tangent, everyone.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, too often you're trying to get them to like, the table is going somewhere, and if you're trying too hard to pull and guide and do that, like sometimes the session, I should say, just has to go where it goes. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like, you go into it thinking like this one's going to be like super serious and we're going to get to this boss, and everyone shows up and they're like, maybe they all just had really shitty weeks and they kind of just want to fucking fuck around. And you as a DM, it's not your job to be like, all right, you fucking shitheads, fucking line up. We're going to go get this bad guy, right? You got to just ride the table, and you just, wherever it goes, you are sort of that person that's like, okay, yeah. We're at a lull and we bring back the story, and, or if someone's going through some shit, you let them vent, and maybe you work that into the story a little bit. I always like to, if we've been going out on tangents, I like to make callbacks to it. If I'm like talking about, oh yeah, and it's a beautiful night, like the night that you were saying you just had, where like you're driving and the air is like 70, right? You got the heat on just your feet or something and the top down. It's just like one of those nights, right? Like call it back and interweave sort of the story and sensory details that people can directly relate to. I find that really can be helpful. But sometimes that table is not going where you want it emotionally, or thematically. And you've just got to, I think personally, I'm like, you just got to roll with how it goes. Cause if you try to impose on your players, sometimes I feel like it doesn't work. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I don't mind tangents.
I feel like we disagree. I think you and I, James, are like sort of opposites a little in this.
Well, I think
I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
It depends. It really depends. I think sometimes, if everyone at the table is having fun swapping stories, or just one person's telling stories, but everyone's enjoying themselves. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a problem, but I do know that we'll have nights where we'll play and nothing will happen.
He's making it personal.
There'll be like a 6-hour session, right? And we talked about Star Wars, for example, all night long. Mm-hmm. And now I'm not going to say I wasn't the number one person screaming and yelling, ripping my hair out and screaming like Star Wars.
Yeah, Kennedy. You were the chosen.
I'm already going there. I'm already going back there. But at the end of the day too, like sometimes it's like
you got to read the table. You got to make sure everyone is on board with kind of not making progress in the game. Is that where you're getting?
But it's like doing like if you do something that's like a lot of hard work, even if it's something that doesn't really make like for example, today I hung up a bunch of shelves on my walls that I've been meaning to hang up for a long time, and it's just kind of like
work. Doing great work.
But there's a sense of like accomplishment that you can get from doing like a day's hard work.
An honest day's work. Is that where this is leading to?
But when you play a game, like there is some like sense of accomplishment or fun when moving forward with the story. And sometimes I do feel a little bit like, man, I kind of wasted this opportunity. Like we could have hung out at any time, and we had this opportunity to play D&D. It's opportunity cost loss.
Yes. But at the same time, like, because I agree, it's like we could hang out at any time, but nobody fucking does. Like, try and get 6 of your friends together. Try it. Like especially when you're our age, like everyone is so busy.
Oh yeah.
God help you if they have kids. God fucking help you. You'll see them at Christmas Eve, like 6 years from now, at Macy's, trying to get a fucking gift real quick, and you'll talk to them for 5 minutes, and you'll be like, I love you, and they'll be like, I'm sorry, I'm gone. It's like, fuck, man. Again? No, that would be my only counter argument, is like, for some people, like getting together with a bunch of their friends isn't something that you can accomplish all the time. Mm-hmm. So I guess my opinion is more of like, don't squander your time with your friends if everyone's having a good time. Like, don't try and impose, hey, we came here to do this thing. Because, like, yes, you did. But it's not bad if, like, it's not like you're being like, look, if all of the Amish were like, all right, tomorrow morning, we're getting over to James's place and we're going to erect a barn. And then, like, they all just sort of stood around and, like, the barn didn't get built. That would be bad. That would be bad. Because it's like, James still needs that barn. His animals are getting real wet. But we're not building barns, right? The whole point is to I've always thought of D&D as a great excuse to get your friends together and sit around with them and share time and share love. So I guess I'm still talking. I apologize, but I think that would be my counter argument to like, sometimes it's okay if the story doesn't go anywhere for a week or whatever.
Yeah.
But then again, I play weekly. I
agree. I mean, I think it's just a matter of like, I mean, I feel like sometimes as a DM, like, especially on our stream, which is a little bit different, but especially I have to
streams are different.
Okay, time to stop talking about, I don't know, clown makeup.
Yeah, the ICP. Like, guys, I know we're getting deep in the Juggalo lore, but we gotta bring it back. But that's also your job, right? Like, as the DM, you're also sort of like party host. You know, it's like you're serving hors d'oeuvres, all that shit. So it is sort of your job to be like, okay, come on, let's bring it back, right? Pump the brakes before we get too far. You know, look for that opportunity to be like, okay, back into it. Yeah, no, we're gonna do it. And someone's like, yeah, but it's like, 1 second, just give me one sentence. Rocks fall, and they're like, oh no. But yeah, so I mean, it is the DM's job to be the one who is keeping an eye out to make sure, one, that everyone's having a good time, and then two, if half the table is having fun just shooting the shit, but the other half you can tell are like, I'd like to fucking roll some dice, please. I came here for the intent purpose, for the express purpose of rolling fucking dice. Be like, yeah, just roll. Doesn't matter, just roll. Be like, that's how you get murdered. That's how you get fucking, they come over the screen right at you. It's gonna be storming the fucking Bastille over here.
Well, I would say in the end, I think as a player, one, I mean, you're always trying to read the table, but just take a mental inventory. I think sometimes can help. Like, literally be like, how many times have I disrupted the game tonight with a tangent or story or something? And you know, it there's no hard fast rules, but I think sometimes, like, just being like, oh my God, I've interjected with 4 different personal stories. Cause I do that and I don't even notice it. So I think to sometimes just being aware, or just trying to be aware of, like, oh man.
Whoa. Are you trying to tell D&D players to be fucking self-aware? Yeah. Buddy boy, we'd have real friends and real pastimes if we could do that. You kidding me? No, I think it's a very good point, in all honesty.
Yeah. No, I understand where he's coming from, because it does, going back to your building a barn metaphor, it does feel sometimes like,
going back to the Amish.
Well, maybe, you know, it does feel at times like the DM has built a barn overnight, and people, instead of going in and admiring it, they just walk right by it. And it does kind of feel a little shitty. But it all depends on the table you're at. Some people want to just hang out, like you were saying. Yeah. And that's totally, you have to kind of just be okay with that, because not every table is going to be Critical Role. And you can't help that. You know, it's just the way it is, unfortunately.
You keep bringing up these Critical Role. Are they?
Yeah. What is this? What is this?
Oh, it's this D&D stream that I watch once in a while.
Once in a day.
Still small potatoes.
So I would have one sort of, I would massage what you just said just a little. Yes, the DM might have, like, built a barn, but I don't think it's honestly the player's responsibility to quote unquote admire it. I think, if anything, the DM needs to build the framework of the barn, and then it's everyone's job to build the rest of it together. I know that's like nebulous and vague, but do you know what I mean? Where it's
I completely agree with you, because I'm in the middle, where, like, I used to hate when people would go on, because I would literally, like, have a major monster moment of, like, oh, and the monster bursts out of and then they'd be like, oh, by the way, speaking of monsters, and they go on a whole tangent for like a half an hour, and the mood is totally killed. I used to hate that. But after a while, I was like, okay, they want to hang out, they want to have a good time. Yeah. Everyone's enjoying talking. So as long as they're having fun, it's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
So after all, I got
Bobby's
used to it.
Just over there. Bobby, did you hear him? I got used to it. He didn't say that he fucking likes it or is even good at dealing with it. He's like, yeah, I got fucking used to it.
Well, when they kill the mood you set up, so, you know,
no, exactly.
It does feel a little.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, you know, setting up the mood is a combination thing, right? Like, the DM tries to set a tone, but it's up to the players to meet that tone and build off of it, right? Like, there's definitely times, I've had times where I'm like, yeah, okay. And then, you know, you start describing, like, this spooky thing, or, like, what you think would be, like, hair raising. And, like, like the group just can't fucking stop like having the giggles and just like riffing on like how funny it would be if this or that. And then I think sometimes as a DM, you just have to like just lean into it. And like at that point, it's like, yeah, that shit starts happening almost. Right. And then it's like you give them like you give, and it's give and take the whole way. And if the mood is just going to be funny, sometimes you have to be like, I guess it's no longer spooky. We're going for funny. Right.
Yeah.
And it can still be fun, but at least you're not pulling and playing tug of war. You're on the same side, pulling the story together, right?
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. I mean, James, so how do you feel? Because like I can see both sides of it, where it's like I agree with Colin for sure, but I also can see your side of it too, where it does feel like there should be a certain level of respect. At times.
Oh, I think
at the table, never.
I think you always have to respect everyone at the table. I'm just saying, like, try and be aware, especially at a table that can easily fly off the handle, right? Like, just try and be aware and just check in that if you are going off on tangents all the time, that you recognize that you're doing it and you're doing it consciously rather than
you can circle it back and make it land. If you can stick the landing, you're allowed to. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, but just be self-aware, right? Like, just fucking listen to yourself for a minute.
Yeah.
He said to himself, I apologize. I talk too much.
Let's talk a little bit about disruptive players at the table and different kinds of disruptive
Oh, okay. Yeah. Talk about me. Fuck it. Bring it on. Come on.
All right. If you have a Cullen at your table, just choosing a random name.
Oh, you poor sons of
out
bitches.
Of all the names out there.
All the names. A really common name. Oh, God.
Yeah. May not be a vampire. We just don't know.
God. How long ago did that series come out? The fucking Twilight series. Like, am I going to be like dealing with?
Ago, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be dealing with like teenagers that have my name like in a bit, right? No. And it would be like, fuck you, kid. Fuck you and the book you wrote in on. Sorry. Did it get personal? Did it get personal in here?
Tell me how you
Side benefit. Going to Starbucks. They know how to spell my name now. So,
was that like a problem before?
It wasn't a problem in that they weren't spelling my name. It was either Colin or Colin or like Colleen or like they didn't recognize it as a human name. Do you know? Like they would just be like, oh, okay, Colin or whatever. It's like it wasn't an actual thing. So, I mean, I guess that's a benefit. Thank you, Stephanie Meyer. Or was that the 50 Shades lady? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Either
Tangents.
Way, talking about disruptive players. Disruptive co-host.
You see how it works? Do you see how he didn't do any of the things we just talked about? He just let me run. And that's the trick.
I actually have this like
own your DM.
Thing. I just like to watch people dig graves, and I just fascinating.
Look at him go.
Oh, he's putting himself in it. He's putting himself in it.
You can only see this shovel tip as it comes out. He's so deep.
Okay, disruptive players. Types of disruptive players, really quickly. There's
two main types. What are they?
Go, please.
There's ones that are being intentionally disruptive, and there are ones that are not. Right? There's ones that are being an asshole, and then there are people that have just like they don't even realize. I would say those are the two broadest camps you can put someone in.
Okay,
someone who's being disrupted for disruption's sake, which you're probably not going to be one of your friends. Might be at like a game store, where you're playing with some like strangers, and like sometimes you just get people that are like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be a fucking dick tonight. The same guy. We met that guy earlier. He was like, I'm going to make everyone rage quit. Oh, tonight, fucking tonight.
So people being intentionally disruptive, you either just have to talk to them,
or kick them out of your fucking table,
or kick them off your table. Right? Like those are the only two things you can do. Right? And
after you've talked to them,
after you talk to them and they don't change, get them out. Right? Be like, look,
goodbye.
You're not here for the same reasons that we are, and that's important. People who are being disruptive, I think there's a lot of different things that people do while trying to help, which can really stunt a table. For instance, I used to, and I still have this inclination for, especially for new players, like I memorize like whenever I play at a table, I generally have a really easy time memorizing everyone's stats. And so people who are having a hard time or with the rules or something, like they'll roll an attack and it'll be like, say I know they have a +5 to hit because I've memorized their stat sheet because
you're a fucking Rain Man.
They'll roll
here.
and they'll be like a 14 plus, and I'll be like, oh, it's a +5. It's a 19.
Yeah, that's annoying. That's annoying. That's how you get a D4 thrown at you.
Well, not only that, or like you're like, well, you can do this, like here are your options. Let me tell you exactly how to play your character.
Yeah, like, that can be rough. That's not fun. That's not good.
Especially like I played at a table once with a new player who was a rogue. And this was like many years ago. Well, rogues are interesting.
It's always rogues.
Well, rogues, the way that they were designed in 5e, they're designed to be played a very certain way. If you want to min-max, they're built a very specific way. It's like, get your sneak attack every round. How do you get your sneak attack? That's the only thing you should be thinking all the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
From a damage perspective.
We'll do one just titled 5e sucks, and I'll play it forever. Like that's we'll do an episode like that.
So like I try.
I love 5e,
but I feel like I don't know, like. I would always be like, you're playing suboptimally because I used to be like super power gamer, and I still have that like in the back of my head.
I think playing in my campaign might have helped stop that, because like it doesn't help in my campaign because I'm just gonna drown you in a puddle. I'm just gonna drown.
I know you started making rules.
Full callback.
Like, we went into the Tomb of Annihilation.
Yeah.
And I started just blocking everything, and you're like, nah, it's got a plus 17 to hit. I was like, what?
Dude, I had to. You guys were so fucking OP. You could have literally just annihilated the tomb.
I'm like, oh, the fire sword? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, I'm resistant to fire. And you're like, oh, it's
icy hot. It's the sword, the scimitar of icy hot. So one time it's hot, and then the next time it's cold. So watch out. It's coming for you. Yeah. You drop that lore, that deep lore. But you do have to do sometimes things like that on the fly as a DM.
Yeah.
Like if you've designed especially if you're working a fucking like a module and they expected not Rain Man to come and play in your game. Like when Rain Man shows up, it's like he's going to know every way to fix everything. So yeah, you give him the scimitar of icy hot, because fuck that.
Well, I think that's also another way like to be a disruptive player. I think min-maxers can be disruptive, especially to RP heavy games.
Sure.
Min-maxers can be disruptive if the rest of the table isn't min-maxing.
Yes. If it's a table of min-maxers, cool. You're probably golden, because everyone's on the same page, and that page is huge, and they have all the stats, and they're ready to just destroy anything that you've made. But that's the fun part, right?
Yeah,
that's probably a key rule, Colin. Like just like for this and the discussion earlier is just like, if the players are all digging it, then just dive into. That's the right table for them. Just dive into that.
Right. Unless they're all min-maxers, and then you kick them all out of your table. You just fucking tell them to go. No, but Bobby, you make a very good point. Like, as long as it's cool with everybody, golden. It's fucking 4 min-maxers and one person who's like, I just want RP. And it's like, yeah, buddy, you're not gonna have any fun here.
Yeah.
Okay, James, continue.
No. I was.
Your landing gear's down.
All I read was, can the scimitar be sentient?
I know. Your face is very slack every time you read. Oh, Shaquille O'Neal?
Oh, God. Your Discord just went... It, like, delayed. And then I saw you weren't talking, moving your lips, but I started hearing your voice. It was creepy. I was like,
it's the scimitar.
Did I start playing a video? I didn't hit anything. What did I do wrong?
Does Shaq have... I don't know if I could do a Shaq impression. like, how do you just sound 7 feet tall? You know, I think I'd probably I just end up doing an Andre the Giant like impression. You know, just be like, anybody want a peanut? You know, like, that is just my default.
Close.
Like large. Close. Is that no, Bobby? That's not what Shaq sounds like.
Well, he's very just like
anybody want
how's
a
it going, Shaq?
Actually, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. I didn't realize that
everyone,
do a Shaq.
come to our Discord and put your best Shaq impersonation into our Discord, and we're gonna rate them.
Oh God, I fucking love it. God, yeah, I gotta up my game. That would flummox me if someone was like, yeah, does he sound like Shaq? And like, obviously you want to say yes, right? I would be like, yeah. Kazam. You know, fucking hell. Yeah, so I don't even know what the fuck we were talking about.
Disruptive players. Ways you could be disruptive without knowing you're being disruptive to the game. Like
by doing Shaq voices. Oh God. No. I mean, but yes, in answer to the question, yes, the scimitar can sound like Shaq, but next session, because I'm gonna have to take a week to learn how to speak like Shaq.
I think too, like, and this I mean, we always talk about session 0, but a good session 0 topic is min-maxing. I think you need, like, that's something that absolutely needs to be talked about at a table.
Yeah.
If you don't want power gaming, you know, that's a thing. Because I think I played a power game. I as a power gamer, I joined a game once that was very RP heavy.
My name is James. And I'm a power gamer.
Hi, James.
Long ago, no, and I actually found, like, I was very upset because I played I think this is 3.5. I played a fighter, and I had like all these stats, and I was ready to kill anything, and there was nothing for me to kill.
Yeah, good.
And I hadn't prepared anything else, right? I didn't have a character. My character was I kill stuff. And so, like,
that was his name. That was the character's name.
Yeah,
it was hyphenated.
I kill stuff.
Yeah.
Kill stuff. The Kill Stuff clan.
Yeah. From the mountains of Kill Stuff. Yeah. So, but I mean, if you're you just, and that's session 0. Show up knowing what you're getting yourself into. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's a fair point.
Yeah, and it seems like
I fucking want the scimitar of Icy Hot now. We just need to start writing these down and release our own little module of, like, what was it? Tasha's Cauldron of, like, everything. It's just like Cullen's fucking belly button of, like, shit and lint that you don't want.
The
but it's got Febreze air. Oh God. Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Well, come back from that, James.
One more thing. One more thing.
Okay.
As a DM, what are things DMs do that can be disruptive? I think one of the big things that I have to be careful about is NPCs that take over the spotlight.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Especially
that's tough. if you have a fun NPC.
Yeah.
Right. You're like, oh, this is Butt Sniffer the gnome, and he talks like this, and then you just, like, for the next 30 minutes, you're like, everything I say is funny in this voice, so I'm just gonna start saying
and you realize you're just
dictionary.
Yeah, then you realize you're just entertaining yourself, and then it's like, oh fuck. Ugh. Sorry, everyone. I think the only way to come back from that is to literally apologize. Be like, guys, I'm just having too much fun. I'm sorry.
I took this bit down along just to see where it would go.
Exactly. I've taken us down a road that we did not need to go down, that you did not deserve to go down, and here we are. And I'm sorry.
The next 5e book, Cullen's Collection of Crap.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. God, I love it. Can't wait.
Or could it be like Cullen's collections of crap, like almost as if you're collecting alms? Bring all your old magic items down to Cullen's collections.
Shit in my hands, please. Oh, God.
We're accepting children's toys, clothes, and old magic items.
Anything you got. Anything you got is welcome. Every bit counts. All right? Every little bit.
Every little bit counts.
Man.
All right, one more thing. Cullen,
Go, Bobby. Bobby, no, stand up for yourself.
Bobby.
I was gonna say, I think it's funny the way that players react to NPCs sometimes, because I've had some that they like loved, and then I've had some that they just like hated, and I was like, why do you hate them so much? They just said hi to you.
Yeah, no.
This guy?
You got to use that though. You got to use that, like, because sometimes it's really hard to make players hate someone. If they fucking straight off the bat fucking hate somebody, it's like, I think I just found my new big bad evil guy.
Yeah.
You know, like who?
Yeah,
I had. Did you guys fucking hate bro grabs in James?
Oh, I love. Oh my god.
No. Yeah, that's in Schmelda. Bro grabs like showed up in my Tomb of Annihilation campaign, and immediately everyone was like, "We need to kill this man." Like he was helping the party, and they were like, "He needs to die." They were like talking about murdering him.
I don't think I met Bro Grabs.
You probably came right after Bro Grabs.
Right after Bro Grabs, yeah.
Oh God, I forget you missed so much. You missed all the good stuff.
Who is that skull? That floating skull curse?
Oh,
that was a guy.
I think did I call him Wit? Did I pull him straight out of fucking? Yes. I think I pulled him straight out of the fucking Stormlight Archive.
Stormlight Archives. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name was Wit.
Everybody hated him.
There was a skull that floated around named Wit, and all it did is make fun of you every time you messed up or failed in something. And it was like cursed attached to you. It was like if you went to a different dimension, he'd just pop up like a minute later and be like, "Yeah, that's not gonna work. It's just you and me, baby. Just you and me for forever." We like our players were fucking so mad. They were like, "Okay, I hit it with my sword," and I was like, "Yeah, it doesn't do anything." So I fucking hit it with a 2x4. Like, nothing. I find a snake and I wrap it around it. Like they tried everything. It was great. They fucking hated him. But you do have to, if you are the DM, you do have to know when to pump the brakes on a bit like that, though. You know, like if people are honestly getting like actually pissed, you gotta know, like you gotta give them something like, you stuff them in a bag. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's muffled. You can't really hear them now, right? Like you don't want to be fucking like really actually like driving people a little crazy can be very fun. Driving people to like actually like they're mad, and it might what I tend to do is I look at everyone's foreheads and the sides of their necks. If you're getting veins up here or here, you gotta pump those brakes. You gotta fucking pump those brakes, baby.
Yeah, if veins are popping, definitely pump the brakes. I've never had that happen before. Damn.
Oh God, dude, really? No. Never. I have had like full on like players like I thought they were gonna come over the screen, but usually because they're having like an actual like an argument with like the king or the whatever person in power, and it's like and you're just giving it back, and it's like that's where it can be very fun too, though, because it's like you're really role playing at that point. If you're fucking popping veins because you're that pissed that this king won't let you do whatever, right? And he's not respecting you because he's a king and he's like, I'm a king, fuck you. Oh God, that's a good shit. But you do have to like every once in a while just pump those brakes. It also helps every once in a while just be like, this is the king talking. This isn't me. I love you. I love you all. I love you all. But fuck you. You're never getting what you right. It's like hand on the head is probably the biggest thing you can do as a DM. Get it in your table. When you're talking out of character, when you just have a question, hand on the head. We even do it when we're just talking to one another now. It's so ingrained in us. It's so funny. If we have a question, we're like, so wait, but are we going to the place this weekend? You'd be like, why is your hand on your head? Because it's fucking muscle memory at this point. It's really helpful though. It is honestly very helpful. So do it.
All right. Do it.
You fucking jerks.
Lessons from Cullen's crap collections.
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
What was it?
What was it? Cullen's collection of crap. There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Cullen's collection of crap is right there.
Come to Cullen's collection of crap warehouse and emporium, where you can check out Cullen's collection of crap, and maybe you can find something in Cullen's collection of crap.
Or just bring me something. I love to collect it.
I love stuff. I love stuff. Just love it.
Hey, man.
Oh, I love it so bad.
Yeah. It's just, you believe people throw this stuff away, man? You believe people throw this stuff away? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
that actually seems like
should we call
a good point for us to
let's call it.
Wrap things up.
Hey guys, it's Bobby from the Cup. If you enjoy DM Office Hours, check out our D&D campaign. It's on every Monday at 7 p.m. on twitch.tv/MinusOneCHA. Or just watch DM Office Hours every Friday at 6 p.m. Take care. I'll just hang out here.